Welcome to the Neurodivergent Experience podcast, a podcast where we share the lived experiences of neurodivergent people to help create a better understanding for our community.
Join us every week as we bring you honest, raw, and inspiring conversations with specialists, advocates, and individuals who know exactly what it's like to live the neurodivergent experience.
I'm Jordan James, a neurodivergent specialist, father of neurodivergent children, husband to a neurodivergent wife, and author of The Autistic Experience, and I'm joined by my best friend.
I'm Simon Scott. I'm an autistic ADHD broadcaster, actor, and advocate. Join us as we journey into unraveling the neurodivergent experience.
And hello, welcome back, all you previous listeners.
Hello.
And welcome to all you new listeners in season 2.
Season two. Season 2.
Fireworks and stuff.
Yes, I am super excited to be back, my friend. I have missed talking to you. I've missed talking to you lovely listeners as well. And I'm really looking forward to meeting some new lovely listeners as more people come and join us in this space that is the neurodivergent experience. I am so happy to see you, my friend. It feels like such a long time since you have been in a little window on my screen and I've been able to talk to you. So how the hell are you, man?
I'm just chill, dude. I'm the happiest I've ever been. Mental health, 10 out of 10. Physical health, 7 out of 10.
Which is better than it's been.
Well, yeah. I mean, my back's been a lot better. Do you know what? I think like taking stress out of my life as much as possible has actually helped my back monumentally. It's been so good. And just really looking after it and not going over the top. And yeah, just everything is great, man. I mean, the kids are happy. Sylvia's really happy. She's just unmasking every day and just being her authentic, neurodivergent, interesting, that's the best word, interesting self. And yeah, just so happy, dude. Just life is in a good direction for me, not for the US. It's
just the world in general.
Yeah, I mean, England's pretty terrible. Everything's pretty terrible, but I'm good. So I'm just been like, I can't control those things, so I can't. There's no point in me getting upset about them. So that's how I'm living my life.
Yeah, and do you know what? I am trying to do the same. I'm trying to just focus and work on the things I can influence, not on the things that are out of my control. And my life does feel a lot better for it, even though if you are looking on the video, you will notice I am still in the same room as I was in when we were recording the last time. I know that we took a break so that I could move. We took a break and I haven't moved.
No, you didn't. You are still sitting there. Oh, you meant like move your house. Yeah, no, Yeah, no, I've not moved house. I'm just living around boxes because I should have moved house and I haven't, but we'll get into that. It's been a fun thing. Well, I say fun. It's not been freaking fun. It's been a pain in the ass, but I'm trying to see the funny side in it. Because even though things are great my end, everything's been ready my end, not so much on the seller's side, there is absolutely nothing I can do. I've just got to sit and be patient and ride it out. And it's a challenge, but I'm getting there. So for all you listeners who don't know what's going on,
yes, of course.
Last year was an incredibly stressful year. For me personally, I had a lot of growth and I had a lot of really great therapy with our resident therapist, Ashley Bentley, who will be appearing on this show.
Absolutely.
Not today, obviously.
Not today, but
Let's clear that one up.
In the very near future.
Let's be autistic specific. That's my new thing. And I reached a point where I was in real trouble, felt really bad, and she helped me. Coming away from social media a bit really helped me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm also known as the Autistic Photographer, and I have a Facebook page with over 100,000 followers, which was really fantastic, and then wasn't, and then was, and then wasn't, and now I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is. And so, me being in a really good place is a really big deal, because it's never happened like this before, where instead of it feeling forced, it just feels like it's just organic. There's no mask behind it, and I get to be my authentic, true self. And I was diagnosed autistic and ADHD about 8 years ago. Started doing photography to help with my mental health. And, 5 years later, here we are. I'm a worldwide selling photographer.
Oh, yeah.
And neurodivergent specialist. And I'm international speaker. And I've got a best-selling book published. And I published another book. And I've just done a whole bunch of really, really great stuff. And one of those great stuffs. Yep, that's
we'll go with that.
Work. Yeah, that one works. Of those great stuffs is this podcast, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be back, and I'm delighted to be joined by my best friend in the whole world, other than my wife. Got to say that. So you have your story. Let's recap. Recap.
Oh, who am I? Why am I here? I
literally have no idea.
Yeah, me neither, mate. Me neither. I was diagnosed autistic ADHD at the tail end of 2022, and we met each other through randomness, really, didn't we? And basically, I was trying to figure out if I had ADHD, as a lot of people seem to. That almost seems to be like the gateway entry level into finding your neurodivergence. And off the back of that, we were introduced to each other, and you and I basically took over the whole conversation and just became great friends from the off. And off the back of that, I am a producer, a podcast producer, and a broadcaster, and have been for, nearly 10 years now. And I loved talking to Jordan so much. I thought, do you know what? Other people will get something from this, because I certainly do. And we started doing this about a year ago. It literally is. Our first episode nearly came out a year ago. And to when we're recording this anyway. And it has changed my life for the absolute better. I have learned more about myself doing this and in the past year than I did in the previous 29. And since getting my diagnosis, I had a really tough time with it. I went through the stages of guilt and then rage, and I felt shame as well. And now I feel like I am in a place where, like you said a moment ago, this is the best I've ever felt in my entire life, and feel so confident. And now I'm trying to move house.
And you're moving home.
Yeah. I'm all grown up now. Yeah. Since, in the past year, I've turned 30, which has been a bit of a, it's not the day you turn 30. It's about 3 days later, where after the party, and you go, oh shit.
That's okay. That's still like 18 in neurodivergent years.
Exactly.
Dude.
That's what I mean. Is I genuinely feel like I have grown into being an adult. I've grown into being authentic to myself and unmasking, and I really feel like my life started in the past couple of years, really. And I'll tell you what, if you're listening to this episode and by the end of it, if you've not listened to any of our other episodes, go back and listen to episode 1 and hear the difference in me, in my voice, how I talk to people. Everything has changed. And I'm very, very grateful for the whole experience, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's been an awesome journey. And later on, I'm going to interview you. You're going to be the first guest on our podcast.
I'm going to be the first guest on my own podcast.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But apart from that, how was your autistic Christmas?
How was my TISM Christmas? Well, unfortunately, adult life still goes on. I had to work right up until Christmas Eve. and it was sort of an annoying one because I was like, oh, I'm going to move house in January, so I'll work up until Christmas Eve and make some extra money. And it's when I were recording on the very last day of January, and I still haven't moved, so it feels like a bit of a waste of time. But do you know what? It was short and sweet, my friend. One of the things that I've enjoyed about Autistic Christmas this year is now that my family are becoming, really aware. My partner joked yesterday, she had an email from work that was like, we've got some autism awareness training. I was like, watch out, you may have some autism in your workplace. But she was also like, I get enough of that at home, I don't need to go to a course. But unless, exactly.
Unless you'll get better at home.
But for Christmas, it was an in and out. We went to my parents on the day, and we were literally gone on the Boxing Day, and then we were both back to work on the 27th. It felt like a complete blip. But I don't know about you, it didn't feel very Christmassy for me this year. I just wasn't feeling Crimbo vibes. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it this year.
Okay, so one of my mental gymnastic altering moments.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Was, again, I was just feeling annoyed and frustrated and angry, and it just weighed me down so much all the time, just feeling that, and then trying to not be like that, and then it poking its ugly head. And one of those things was like in November, I was seeing Christmas decorations and people putting lights up, and I mean, stores selling Christmas stuff, they're just trying to make money, and I understand that. That never actually ground my gears. I think it's just like the, people falling for it in my head. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, why are you getting Christmassy in November? And I put a post on Facebook, as I often do, with my thoughts, which is a dangerous and
it's always a
life-changing experience every time. And the answer, I basically said, I don't get it. Why are people doing it? And there were a few meanies, but most people were just like, look, I do it because it makes me feel good. Christmas is a big time of year for a lot of people because of mental health. They get to look forward to a fun period of time. We call it the holiday period. And, more friends and family and fun on TV and music. And there's so many wonderful things about Christmas if you just think positively. And that's what I started doing. It just kind of opened my eyes to being like, well, I wasn't correct. I was wrong about this. And I just gave in to the whole, I called it just the festival of light, because January, November, December, January, it's very dark.
It's grim.
Very miserable. And, a lot of the time I did get, the seasonal depression. And and people were saying that's why they put the lights up and the decorations, because let's be honest, they make you feel good.
That's historically what it is, It's
it is. It's to what I mean. A lot of the time, it's to ward off evil spirits. And if you think about it, mental health conditions it feels like an evil spirit invading me. Because I don't feel like myself. I don't feel happy. I don't feel joyous. So it is to ward off that evil spirit of negativity in my own mind. And so we put all the decorations up, and it just made me feel better. And I've never been more positive and enthusiastic about a Christmas since my kids were little, and and still believed in all the fairy tales surrounding Christmas. And for me, it was just because I did that, it automatically just started impacting everyone around me. And the positivity was just infectious. And dude, we just did some really fun things, like, building gingerbread houses from scratch.
Nice.
None of the box bought rubbish, from scratch. And we were playing games and watching movies together and making really lovely food. And it was like, this was the best time we've ever had as an adult family, because my kids are 23 and 21. and they had their partners over, and I had my nephew, who's more like a little brother to me, over. And it really was just, it was all about family and love and happiness. And yeah, I went crazy and I bought a whole bunch of really fun presents. I basically emptied out the Nike store and Vinted thinking about sponsoring me now because I spent so much money. But I just had a really great time, and everybody else did. And, you know, I actually worked Christmas Day and Boxing Day because I'm security manager and that's how my shift pattern works. But no regrets because we did everything just before that, and then we did everything in the evening, and then I went to Mauritius.
Oh, just casually drop that in there. Just as you do.
So
popped over.
I'll talk about that in a second. I think it's your turn though.
Oh, is it? Oh, good. Well, I do have, actually, just thinking about Tism Christmas, I did have a very fun experience, right? So I think one of the reasons as to why Christmas has felt a little up in the air for me is because life in general, with this move and everything and feeling unsettled, and all of my nice personal belongings that I like to touch and see all the time are in boxes. And I do feel a bit unsettled. And I've, been reading recently that divorce, marriage, and moving house are the three most stressful things you can put yourself in. Adding, being ND on top of that, it's a real cocktail of fun. So Christmas at the moment has not felt like it's got traditions or, everything that we used to do. Like, we used to watch Doctor Who, don't really watch Doctor Who anymore. We watched Wallace and Gromit, which was awesome, but I feel awesome. And but I feel like what used to be sort of our Christmas traditions are changing, because I am a lot, I'm 30, and I'm kind of thinking about how I want to do Christmas, not just, going to my parents. So I feel like I'm in this sort of limbo state with the festive season. But with that, my mum has also kind of changed her traditions as well. We always used to, at Christmas dinner, have an after dinner box, which is like the last present. And because we've been changing how we've done it, my mum just went this year, I don't really want to be spending all day in front of the oven because I feel like I miss out on Christmas. We went, right, cool, we'll just do something a bit different, got more pre-made stuff in. But we didn't do the after dinner box. Now, my grandma, who I have realised is autistic, and she has a thing for scratch cards. And it got to the end of the dinner and she sat up and she did the little autism bob and pushed herself up and got comfortable and put her hands together and was like, right, I'm ready for my scratch card now. And my mum went, oh, I've not done them. And my grandma, bless her, leaned back in a chair, her arms were crossed and her expectations were definitely not met. And it completely threw her. So I then went to a corner shop, the only corner shop that was open at 6 p.m. on Christmas Day, and got scratch cards for everybody. And walked through the door and she went, oh, thank you, love. Well, thank you, love. I really appreciate you getting me those scratch cards. That's really nice. My expectations are met, all this sort of thing. I handed her the scratch cards and she instantly went, don't like those ones.
Tism.
I was just well, there you go. That's crack on. Did any of us win?
An ungrateful 3-year-old.
Just basically, she just went I don't like those ones. I was like, well,
I don't want that one.
It was literally, I don't like that one. I don't want it. And do you know what? A year ago, 2 years ago, with the little amount of knowledge that I knew, I would have had a totally different reaction to that situation. All I could do was I couldn't help but laugh. She was like, why is it funny? It's not funny. I went, I think it's hilarious that you've just you've just got to laugh through it. And that was the highlight, I think, of my Tism Christmas this year, was seeing my grandma just go, where's my scratch card? Oh dear.
Yeah, I think Christmas makes people feel safer when in the neurodivergent community. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a lot of negativity for some who have had bad experiences. But, let's try and keep it positive. So if Christmas is a positive thing for you, I think it's really important, to remember how important it can be to some people, whether it's because of family, whether it's because of religion, whether it's because of lights and happiness and traditions, and just doing the same thing, I think is always quite helpful. It's a hard time of year for a lot of people, but I decided to make it the best time of year. And you know what? I don't wish time away. Time is precious, and I feel like it goes too quickly. But I can't wait till next Christmas, honestly. And the fact that I'm going to New Zealand afterwards.
Oh, so, God, Mr. Worldwide! Yeah. It's like hanging out with Pitbull with you.
Yeah, but I mean that's part of photography. Absolutely, and traveling the world. And last year we went to Canada, we went to Oregon in the US. And we went to Gran Canaria, on a little vacation for our anniversary. This year, we decided to go to Mauritius. So our wedding anniversary, is on the 13th of January. It was very, very cold, and Sylvia was wearing a dress that was not very warm. So that was always fun. So it's something we'll never forget. So we try and go somewhere warm every year, just to sort of stave off the negativity of the darkness.
The darkness, the never-ending darkness.
Well, as time's gone on, we started this about 10 years after we got married, because we were dirt poor and couldn't afford to go anywhere and put all our money into the kids, as you do. And then we went to Lanzarote for 10 days for our 10-year anniversary, which is basically our honeymoon 10 years later. Then we just kind of moved on from there. And I've been at the same workplace now for 17 years. So I've moved up, I've got promotions, and finally cleared all the debt that I was in. And I just stopped buying things I can only describe the most ADHD way of just going, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. And just putting stuff in my basket instead and going, okay, do I really want that in a month's time? Or do I just want that because I really, really want it now? And I tell you what, 9 times out of 10, it's just because I want it now because, ADHD. So I put things in place, started saving some more money. And this year we were able to go to Mauritius for a beautiful luxury holiday. It was magical. It was literally like a tropical dream, and it was the best holiday we've ever been on, other than when I went to Canada. We went to the Rocky Mountains. Canada was the best holiday I've ever been on. And it's nice because I found that balance between photography and just enjoying the moment. Whereas before, when I was hyper-focused, it was just all photography to photography. And it would just frustrate a lot of people. But that's part of being autistic, is hyper-focus and, negatives and positives. But now I'm just like, it's kind of just 70-30 in the favor of just enjoying the time I'm spending. And then about 30%, enjoying the photography. And that's what we did on the holiday. And I saw a turtle. We're out kayaking. Yep, kayaking along the coral reef.
Sounds awesome.
The dreams. And a turtle just popped out, and we called him Bubbles. And Sylvia and I was trying to take pictures, and Sylvia was incapable of keeping the canoe sturdy because she was so shocked at seeing this turtle. She kind of just like froze, and I said what happened? And she said, I got starstruck. I was like, that's so cute.
That's so funny.
But yeah, apart from the raging hot sun that burnt every single part of our body that was showing, considering I ended up swimming in a t-shirt and shorts. Well, it'd be weird if I didn't have shorts on.
Just Winnie the Pooh in it in the sea? That'd be great.
Oh, dude, I wish yeah, that would be an interesting one. I think next time I go, I'm just going to take a full bodysuit and like a helmet and just look like a ninja.
Yeah, the sun is my friend.
Dude, it was luxury, and it was kind of like a tribute to everything that I've worked so hard at, with my job and with everything that I've been doing. And it was just nice to see how far we've come as a couple, and knowing that 24 years married, 25 years together, we are closer than any two people on this planet could possibly be. And it is the most wonderful feeling.
That's
just to know
that's wonderful.
Someone's got my back,
Absolutely. That's It's a really wonderful feeling. And you know what, my friend, you look really good and you sound really happy. And it's great to see that you've had a break and it's been great. I wish I had a break. But something that we're going to introduce, we're going to take a little bit of a break now. And on the back of that, we're going to pick up with me being interviewed, which is going to be fun. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This episode of the Neurodivergent Experience is brought to you by RTN Mental Health Solutions. With up to a 5-year waiting list for autism and ADHD assessments via the NHS, and that's even if you get a referral from your GP, getting an assessment in the UK has never been harder. So if you're like me and can't wait anymore, going private may be the best option for you. RTN offers online assessments for kids aged 6 right up to adults, with prices starting at £900. To make it more accessible, RTN can offer payment plans up to 5 months. You can access their remote services from the comfort of your home anywhere in the UK, and RTN offers group and one-to-one counselling, a private route to access ADHD medication following the assessment, and will even fight for you if your GP doesn't accept the results. So if you live in the UK and can't wait to get an assessment, go to www.rtnmentalhealthsolutions.com and use the discount code RTN23, making it even more affordable for all of our listeners to get an autism and ADHD assessment. Hello, welcome back to the Neurodivergent Experience. You're listening to me, Simon Scott, and I'm here with my best friend, Jordan James.
Yo.
Yes, yo indeed. And I'm about to be interviewed a year on from our first episode, and I'm not sure what to expect. I'm really interested to see what you're going to ask me. So fire away, I guess.
Yeah, and in just the typical Jordan James manner, I have prepared no questions or even given it a moment's thought until this very second.
Great.
So this is completely off the cuff, as 99% of everything I do is, and it's been pretty successful so far. So
we'll see how it goes today.
First question. Who is your biggest inspiration?
Oh, come off. Don't
what?
Come on.
What?
Ask what? Come on. You can't ask loaded questions.
No, I can. I can do what I want. I'm interviewing you.
Who's been my biggest inspiration?
Yeah, just as far as neurodivergence is concerned.
As far as neurodivergence, yes.
Yeah, just remember the whole podcast hinges on this very answer.
Yes. Well, for the audience of one, the answer is Jordan J.
Yeah, it's me.
For the audience of everybody else. No, yes, you have been a wonderful influence, my friend, and it's been great being under your mentorship and being advocated by you. And I can now go and advocate not only for myself, but I'm finding other people as well. So thank you for that. So
there is a reason I asked you that, and it's not an ego boost, because I don't need one of those.
Right, sure.
The reason I asked you is because I often feel like I don't do a very good job. I often feel like I try, but because we live in a society where you can't say anything good about yourself, and very rarely other people will say nice things about you due to envy and petty things like that, we kind of live in a society where we're all sort of very down on ourselves or like competitive. And
especially
I just like
in the UK, anyway.
Oh God, yeah, it's very much it's not an English thing, but it does seem to be a British thing. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you can say stuff like that and celebrate it, and rather than it being that's, it's just it is a fact, and facts should be easily said, I guess.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, that's why you came to me in the first place, is because of my knowledge, and what's massively impressed me with you, my young Padawan, is you have very, very quickly rose the ranks to full-ass neurodivergent Jedi Master.
I feel that way as well. It's not even a case of you saying that and me going, oh, no, I don't. It is, as you said, it is very difficult. And it's something I have really struggled with, and I've talked about it in counselling and therapy a lot, believing in myself, having like confidence and trust in myself. It's like speaking to Ashley Bentley, who is our resident therapist on this podcast, who, if you haven't already listened to her episodes, don't worry, they're brilliant, but also there's more to come. I've been working with her and another counsellor. And do you know what, mate? I've realised I have lived in fear all my life. Been absolutely terrified of everything all my life. And I've really tried to work on pairing the relationship with like this scared inner child that I have that's felt ostracized and really misunderstood. And it's not even the case of being misunderstood. I felt like there was something wrong with me. And now I don't feel like that at all. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with me. And I'm really trying to repair the relationships of these different like sort of archetypes of feelings of like fear and loneliness. And I feel like I have really enriched my life in the past year, just from the things I've learned and the people I've spoken to and the things I've heard. And I'm getting a lot of reception from people around me that are going, you helped me with that. And it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. The feeling of being able to help yourself when, you know, I've had a lot of internalized ableism. I still do. And I have to remind myself, I am a disabled person. And there are moments where I am disabled. And it's nice not having to kick lumps out of myself when I feel like that. I kind of just go, I feel like that right now. It's not forever. And it's just in this moment. And I look at like the list of things that I've overcome. You know, I'm on a hero's journey. It's like something I recognized with Ashley is if I was to meet 8-year-old me now as a 30-year-old, I am that kid's hero. And that cannot be understated, the importance of that self-love. It's not something I've ever had before. And I'm really trying to not just own it, but almost indulge in it. It's not trying to like feed ego. I'm just going, like with this house, for example, the solicitors on the other end. Oh God, if I was in a business sense, I'd sack them. They're rubbish. Or there's absolutely nothing that I can do. I can stand on the phone and go rah, 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 and make threats that are empty and bluff and mask, essentially. But rather than doing that, I've tried to be graceful with it and just go, nothing that I can do. I'm going to try and hold my integrity. Yeah, I want this house. I'm just going to have to be patient. Now, that is a lifetime away from where I was a year ago.
So, having grown so much, because I think those were one of the most interesting things about this podcast to begin with was, you know, your journey. So me with my experience and my my knowledge, but also seeing you growing into someone that I always knew you would be. And what do you think, like what moment, like what episode would you say you really started believing in yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. I wouldn't necessarily say it was one specific episode. I don't think I can pinpoint it as a light bulb moment. And what I mean by that is, you know, you don't see a tree grow, you plant a seed and you watch it grow. And I feel like that's what I've been doing. I feel like by starting this podcast, we planted a seed. We planted this like sort of seed of hope, of self-love and growth and understanding. And that's what I wanted when I came to you with a producer mindset. I thought, what a great example of somebody who's further along their journey than me, who has experience, has, you know, 2 children and a wife that are neurodivergent, and the life experience that you've got, paired with somebody like me who is right at the beginning of this journey. I thought from a storytelling point of view, that's a really nice perspectives to have. And by doing it, I feel like talking to Steve Silberman was a big one.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
When I was talking to him, I kind of went, I can do this. And not only can I do this, I can do this well. And that was, for me, confidence.
Yeah, I can't believe you said that episode. It was when we were interviewing Steve and you just had that confidence of somebody that was like, okay, no, I do belong here. You know, you're talking to the great and late Steve Silberman, and you didn't feel intimidated. So there's me, I don't feel intimidated by anyone. But that energy I have is intimidating to others.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve was just incredible and just such an amazing guy. And you had every opportunity to completely go inside yourself. Like, no one would have blamed you at that moment for just not feeling particularly confident.
Mm.
And you did feel confident. I never have expectations of you, because I feel like having expectations of neurodivergent people is just negatively impactful. I think the expectation is just just keep trying. Like, don't give up. Just keep trying your best, and I'll be there to support you. That's how I feel with my family. But with you, I just sat, but I just knew it was coming, because I just knew that the more we did this, the more confident you got, the better you would be, and the better you would be in this, the better you would be in your life. Because I think the wonderful thing about doing this was the fact that you were able to unmask in a safe space, and then you were able to then slowly unmask out in the unsafe space we call the world.
Just life in general.
Just life. So my other question is, when you started unmasking, who in your life was the most negative about the real you, or surprised you by being so negative?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's just say my phone book has changed since my unmasking process started. And there have been a lot of people in my life that have come and gone as friends. And in a weird way, it's my oldest friends. It's the people that have known me the longest. And I think realistically, it must be hard for a neurotypical person that's known a highly masking neurodivergent person like me for as long as they have. When that person starts unmasking, they actually may view it as a mask. They're going, "What? This isn't you." And I have experienced that. And there have been multiple people that have kind of just fallen away from my life. But the connections that I have made since I've started unmasking are so authentic, so organic. And I really didn't feel like I had a lot of friends when I was first doing this. I didn't feel like I had a lot of honest relationships, to be honest. I felt like I was exaggerating myself and trying to be somebody that I'm not, just to try and fit in. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this can relate to that. And when the unmasking period started, that was when I was like, screw it, I'm going to go to Disneyland Paris for my holiday. And a couple of people that I was friends with at the time were like, "Oh, you're a Disney adult." And I went, "No, I'm just somebody who has money and is doing what they want with it." And
it's a weird thing for people to say.
And I was just like, that's what I mean. Some people are dicks. And I realized I had a lot of dickheads around me. And since I've started the unmasking process, and it is weird. It's like being reborn. You almost have to melt yourself to it's like the butterfly cocoon. You go into yourself and you come out. I was a recluse for like a year after my diagnosis because I felt a lot of guilt and a lot of rage. I was really angry about how I'd been treated, and I had a lot of justice sensitivity around a lot of past experiences I had, and I just got stuck in my own head and just stopped talking to people, really. And the handful of people that stuck with me, the relationships that I've built with them now is wonderful. It's like I have my friendship with you, which I am so grateful for, and I love being your friend. But I now have other friends in my life that I love, and I love spending time with, and they actually want to spend time with me as well. And
so good.
I've had a couple of people recently. I've got a really good friend called James, who I would love to have on this podcast because he's a business-headed guy, but he's neurodivergent, and he talks to me regularly about navigating neurotypical people in the workspace. And we had a bit of a conversation the other day, and he said something to me which I'm incredibly grateful for. But at no point did I go, ugh, or feel awkward about it. He went, I think you're an inspiration. And I just went, thank you. Rather than going, oh, all of this, like, oh, no, you don't have to say that, mate. He went, do you know what, mate? I really appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. And that journey it's took a lifetime to get to there. And you do lose people. And it is upsetting, really, because there are people that I care about. And I feel like I have a lot of memories that I share with people that I'm going to lose because we're not going to talk about them or reminisce on stuff. And I then have to acknowledge what I had to give up to be friends with those people. It was me. I had to stop being me to fit in with these people. And now that I don't do it, my life feels so full and so colourful, but it also feels real. It's like I don't feel like I'm faking anything. I'm not, forcing myself into a space because I'm just like, oh, these are the only friends I'm going to have because, I'll just pick whoever picks me. I now feel like I have a lot of autonomy and control over my inner circle, and it's filled with a lot of love and a lot of appreciation. And I've got people that love and care for me. And a year and a half ago, I didn't feel like that. And now I do.
Yeah, it feels like it's like the synaptic pruning of friendships, isn't it? You have to sort of get rid of the dead wood in order to let the new tree grow. At the end of the day, though, that dead wood is holding you back from the growth. And unfortunately, you might be attached to that dead wood, but that is still dead wood.
Because that's a point you've made there that I think sums it up, is its growth. In life, I know that you're gonna move in different paths and grow in ways. But there is something really wonderful about reaching a point in life when you're growing and you're growing alongside people. I feel like over the past year, the growth that you've had, I can just see it in your demeanor and your energy. And maybe that's what some people would call an aura, but you seem so at peace about a lot of things. You just seem so zen. And from where you were when we first started this, you weren't zen.
Yeah, a lot of things would upset me regularly, and I'd let it fester and bother me. And the thing is, it's not like the things that upset me before don't upset me. I go, well, I can't do anything about it. So, me being upset is just, it's only going to be negative to me. It's like if you lose your temper, I mean, I'm not talking about meltdown, completely different thing. But if you lose your temper or you get angry or your sense of justice is just weighing you down and you can't do anything, then you're only damaging yourself.
Absolutely.
So if you, I found that I actually can do a lot more because I'm so happy. So I make other people happier, and then other people can do more things. If just by being chill and supportive, my son, he advocates for himself. He's advocating for others. He's helping other people in his other new family, from his girlfriend's side, and he saw them over Christmas, and they came over, and her parents came over, and in my opinion, they are definitely neurodivergent, and we had wonderful conversations. But Simon talks about this sort of stuff as well, and he's helped his girlfriend understand her neurodivergence, and with Sophie, she helps. We love Chris. Chris is he's my future son. I shouldn't say that. I'm not allowed to say that. It's true though. He's my future son. And Chris has always felt so bad about being autistic. And
like
Sophie,
a lot of us have.
Yeah, like a lot of us have, dude. Like most of the people listening probably have or still do. And because of the positivity, because of the information that I have, because of the way I'm able to describe things, it's had that effect on her. And then she was able to help him. And he has never been in a better place because of her. And they're able to help each other. So that positive attitude of the things that I can control, which is me, that's what I can control. I can control how I feel about things and my reaction to them. And all the time my reaction to them is to get angry, then I'm just damaging myself. I'm not helping anyone.
You're out of control. You know, that's the thing I find with rage. And I do feel so in control of myself. And I feel like I have more to give because I have room. I don't feel like I've got these demons I'm carrying as much anymore. It's like I used to feel a bit like an alien. Be like, why do I feel like this? Like there's something wrong with me. Like, have I got a brain tumor? Am I dying of something? Like, why am I doing the things that I'm doing and feeling this like huge weight of emotion and things like that? And now that I have this sort of answer of I'm neurodivergent, I'm meant to be this way. We've always been this way. And it's like I found a level of peace. But with that, I feel like I'm a lot more of an open book with people. And I'm not afraid to put myself out there. And I've noticed in my life, more people are being receptive to me and seem to trust me more. And I had an experience just the other night where a guy I used to work with has broken up with his partner of 12 years and has had a really toxic breakup. And he was essentially saying to me that something hadn't happened at work because he was dealing with all of this. And the masked version of me 3 years ago would have been like, Christ, mate, come on, I need this stuff for work. Like, you're letting me down and, you know, come on, I expect more and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't. I kind of just went, look, I totally understand where you're coming from. I've had shit breakups. I'm really sorry that you're experiencing that right now. If there's anything that I can do to make it a bit easier, let me know. There's no pressure, but unfortunately, I still need this thing. So if you could get it to me by this time, I would appreciate it. And he responded back with, you're so kind, mate. I really appreciate you being like that with me. I've got it here for you now. And I feel like I'm just moving with more grace and opportunities seem to be coming to me more just because I just feel so calm and confident. And it's not even like an ego confident. It's just no, I know who I am. I have my integrity. This is the person that I want to be. And that's non-negotiable. This is who I am. And
it's amazing how
it's very empowering.
Yeah, when you treat yourself right, how easy it is to treat others right.
Oh, so true.
Because you just have a better understanding of how you want to be treated. But all the time you're negative towards yourself, that negativity is going to spread to others, and therefore it's going to come back on you. You know, it's this is a weird analogy, but this is how I feel about it. So if you've got a toilet at work, right? And if you go into that toilet and you make a mess of it, and then the person that goes in there, they look at your mess and they go, well, no one seems to really care about this toilet. And then they make a mess of it. And then when you go back in, it's even messier than what you left it. So you're basically walking into the most rancid toilet because you made a mess and the person after you made a mess and the person after them made a mess. And then you're having to deal with that mess now. Whereas if you had cleaned it, the people who walked in went, oh, someone actually cares and they might have cleaned it and they might have cleaned it. Weird analogy, but it works.
It works. It totally works.
It just keeps going and keeps going. And that's how I'm viewing things, and that's how you're viewing things. And here we are trying to teach others to be like that, which is so very different from what we started this with, which was I'm just going to shout at everyone and be angry at the way people are treated. But, you know, people are going to treat people bad, and I'm going to be here just to help them not, I guess, just by explaining it. Yeah. So, let's have one more break and then we'll come back for the end. One question on the back of the interview, the last question I had in my head was, I've experienced a lot of people saying, you know, inspiration and saying nice things to me and how much I've helped them. But I knew it was coming for you. And I absolutely loved the time we had Autistic Minds, when we did the live and we met a lot of our fans and stuff. But I was wondering, like, for you, what was like one of the big moments where you felt like, oh, I have actually helped someone, like I've done it, like it made you, it just made you realize that you were doing a good thing, that it's not superficial.
No, well, to be honest, there's been a few moments. I feel like it all crescendoed into the Autistic Minds event that we did, the live, because meeting people like yourself that are listening to this, and hello if you were one of the people we met there, it was incredible actually hearing multiple people come up to us and go, I feel like we're friends. Thank you for sharing yourself in a public space, in a public setting, and also going to bat for our community and fighting for us. And I've always wanted to be in a community. I've never really felt like I had until now. And it's really rewarding feeling like an important part of that community as well. But there was a particular moment I had where there's a young lad that I work with. And do you know what? He's a very misunderstood kid. And I think one of the reasons as to why people were struggling with him, and I was struggling with him, was because we were treating him in a way that we'd been treated. And I looked at the sort of kid that he was and his sort of mannerisms and how much he likes talking about bugs and animals and his certain sort of peculiarities. And I didn't necessarily have my advocate head on, but I just went, treat him exactly how you would want to be treated, because he reminds me so much of me when I was 21. And I had a moment with him where I just went, look, you don't seem very happy at work. How can I help you? How can I help you be happier? Because I can see you're struggling with stuff. And he was like, well, I don't feel like people treat me very well. And for that reason, I don't feel very motivated and everything. And I kind of went, right, okay. He says, I will go to bat for you. I will speak to people in management on my management team with me. And I will make sure that this sort of attitude to you stops. I says, but I'm going to need it in return. I'm going to need you to sort of step up a little bit. And if there's anything you're struggling with, I'm here to help you. And the amount of glowing reviews that this kid has had on performance since we had that conversation is amazing. It's really, really so rewarding. Good. And I feel like I have now got a really, really important skill set to help people when I needed help, if that makes sense. Like, I saw this kid at 21 and I was like, do you know what? If I'd had a manager speak to me like that, I could have jumped years ahead in things that I messed up with or opportunities that blew up, because a lot of the time I used to tell myself I didn't deserve it. And I could see this kid had his head down and he was like, I don't deserve good things because bad things keep happening to me. And I kind of just sat him down and treated him how I wanted to be treated. And I don't think I ever would have come to that if we didn't do what we're doing now, because I've never really had, it's not that I didn't have the empathy, but I was so internal and so like stuck in myself that I just didn't trust anybody. And by doing this and talking to people and seeing that I'm not alone in how I feel, and that there are other people that have, you know, like one of the taglines we used when we first started this is, our experiences overlap, but no two are the same. It's frightening how many of us have the same negative experiences that overlap. And I feel like because of the conversations we've had, because of the confidence I've now got, I was able to look at somebody who was having a bad time and go, I've got the skills to help this kid and I'm going to use them. And that's, you know, that was, for me, was a moment where I was like, I can be an advocate. I can do this. I can really help people in my community discover themselves and love themselves. And I have done. And it's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Yeah, because you've grown, and you've grown into somebody who does help people. So us as advocates, the whole reason we're advocates is because we want to help people. It never had anything to do with anything else. I only ever want to help people. I have a full-time job. I have a great life, a great family. I have no need for anything else. But I do this, and I did the book, and and I do the Facebook because I want to help people, because damn it, there's not enough good people out there trying to help. So I'm like, well, if I have this knowledge, if I have the way of using it, and there's so many autistic people that can't express their feelings due to alexithymia or can't speak due, being non-speaking. And there's so many reasons why autistic people can't share their experiences. And I'm fortunate enough that I can. So I was like, well, I'm going to do that. And that's what you're doing as well. So we are in a very unique and privileged position where we can, talk about our lives. So that's what we're doing. And, leading on to something new that we're going to be doing, with the great power of knowledge comes great responsibility on how we share that knowledge. And which leads us to our last segment. I know this is going to blow you away because you didn't even know about this, right?
Okay.
Aha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The hot topic. So this week's hot topic is Elon Musk.
Oh, no.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Just what the fuck?
That was a bad day at the office for his PR team, wasn't it? Oh.
So here's my opinion.
Your hot topic take.
Those were definitely salutes of the German,
of the Third Reich kind,
the 1930s German kind. They were horrific. They were disgusting. They made me feel sick. But I think what was equally sick from a neurodivergent perspective is how people used his neurodivergence as an excuse. As a reason, and they say, "Oh, he didn't know what he was doing." Shut up! Shut up! You absolute pillocks.
He's highly intelligent man.
I mean, I am so chill, but fuck off, right? There's absolutely no way that any single autistic person in his position who has managed to get into his position, the position of being the richest arsehole on earth, and not know what that is or what he's doing. And, I've heard lots of excuses which made me sick to my stomach. And then I've heard a lot of people saying about, that he is a Nazi. And I can't answer that. It's above my pay grade. But what I can think is that, he's an incredibly deluded individual. His oversized ego is out of control. And I think that he did it because he was trying to impress a certain right-wing group of people. He was trying to solidify himself within the hearts of the evil,
the hearts and minds of these people,
the hearts and minds of the horrifically racist, evil bastards out there. Because, I think that's what he thinks his audience is. I think that he knows very well that the type of people that would enjoy such a salute voted for Donald Trump, his new puppet in charge of America. And I think that it was a moment of pure and utter madness, but I think that he absolutely did what he did. Yeah. And I think that the only person he actually thinks is the perfect human is himself. I think he honestly thinks that the master race is him and him alone, and everyone else is just a pawn in his sick asshole game. And that is my opinion.
Yes, it's yeah, no, I like this hot topic. We'll keep this. I read similar things and I just went, oh, fuck off. I was like, yes, maybe he's had a moment of unmasking in front of the mass public and his real thoughts slipped out in a salute. Who knows? Maybe the Tesla Model SS will be a good car.
The swastika car.
Just anyway. It's a very frightening time. And as somebody who likes history, unfortunately, I see a lot of the signs repeating themselves, which is very frightening. And you look at RFK Jr., who's the health secretary, I believe, and some of his thoughts around how our people need cures and, we are made, our brains are created by vaccines. And we've also had on the back of that hot topic something I wasn't going to mention, but seeing as it's relevant, there's been a tragedy, an air traffic tragedy that's happened in the past week or so in America between a helicopter and a plane. And the president of the free world blamed diversity hires.
He said that it could be responsible. Yeah, I read into that. I was sickened by that, but it doesn't surprise me.
This is the world we are. But this is the world we are now entering.
That's the type of person he is.
It's very.
He doesn't care who he hurts.
It's very, very frightening.
As long as he pleases the very deluded and insanely stupid section of the public that voted and believe in him. And screw the rest of you because he doesn't care.
Yeah, well, one of the things that is always most helpful for people in power, especially people of wealth, is making people that don't have wealth fight amongst themselves, because then they are getting away scot-free. But it reminds me of the season of there's a particular season of The House of Cards, which was a show that fortunately Kevin Spacey was quite good in. And there was a scene that made me think of what I saw with the inauguration, and it's the character Frank Underwood going, in 30 years' time, people will look back on this footage as this man is inaugurated, and who will they see in the corner of the frame smiling? The camera pans, Frank Underwood waves to the camera, and I, in the inauguration, saw Dana White, head of the UFC, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and it's frightening how oligarchs are now a thing in the United States. It is very frightening. And we will continue to bring you these autistic hot topics of when we have our community raised up. But yeah, the fact that, unfortunately, it shows that the division in our community needs some work when you've got people going, oh, he doesn't know any better. He is made an unbelievable amount of money, and he hasn't done that through being thick. He's a very clever, calculated, strategic man. Knows exactly what he's doing.
There's nothing accidental about anything that he does.
There's nothing accidental about that man. He's
part
very
of his plan.
Purposeful.
His kookiness, his jumpiness, that is not autism. That is a man playing on his autism to make himself likable and fun and look like it's a pilot fish. That's what he is. He's the, oh, look at me, I'm a big light and shining. And then as soon as you fall for that light, a giant fish with fangs comes out and eats you. That is what he is. He's playing possum. He's playing innocent. And we can all see it. We know, because you have to be pretty dumb to not realize this. But,
it just always, but you know what makes me frustrated? And I think we'll finish on this point, is that any time in society when somebody goes, oh, I did that because I'm autistic, or I did that because I have ADHD, it's not an excuse. But when Elon Musk does a closed palm salute on stage, now it's an excuse.
Yeah, now it is, yeah. Yeah, whatever.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll wrap up episode 1 of season 2. We've got a hell of a lot more coming for you, and I'm really, really so glad to be back. And it's been awesome chatting to you again, mate. I've really missed our conversations once a week together.
I have also missed things.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Neurodivergent experience. We hope today's episode sparked something for you, whether it's a new idea, a bit of validation, or just a moment of connection. Remember, new episodes are every week, so be sure to join us for the next one for more conversations and insights into the neurodivergent experience. If you've enjoyed this podcast, help us grow. You can do that by rating and reviewing this show. Your support makes a huge difference in helping us reach more people who could benefit from these conversations. You can connect with us on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just search for the Neurodivergent Experience. Thank you again for listening. And until next time, take care of yourself. You're not alone in this journey.